Welcome. We are your hosts, Chris and Tammy.
In this podcast, we dive into the mindset for networking strategies and skills you'll need to build a solid foundation to build a global business.
We've built a multi-million-dollar business and have mentored thousands of people around the globe in the last 25 years.
We have 10 skills that we had written down that we feel is very, very important for effective communication. And the first one being an attentive listener. And I'm talking really focused listening on the conversation people are having with you, whether it's in your local market or global market, because it's really important to understand where people are coming from.
That is really important. Make proper eye contact. Focus on what they are saying in their expression as they share, because they are going to be revealing a lot of data, information that will be useful for you to be able to attend to as you start communicating. Which brings us to number 2, be concrete and clear. To become an effective communication, you want to make sure that you're precise, right? And that you don't venture too much in tangents to try to impress the person with things that you may not even be sure that it's actually, verified, right? You want to make sure that it's authentic and that the person whatever you share with that person could be verified. And if you go across and scoring online and they start reading content and you just talked about, and you can cross-reference that establishes an enormous amount of credibility, right? So you want to be concrete, you want to be precise, and you want to be very clear, which brings us to number 3, the nonverbal communication. This is absolutely key. Tammy, you go ahead.
Yeah, I remember early on in my career in network marketing, I would go to sessions where the leader would be talking to groups of people, and I would just sit and observe this nonverbal communication connection that's going on in the body language. And it's amazing how people connect without even saying a word in some cases. So I picked up a lot, and I really got to understand the importance of also understanding to read people through just how their facial expression is, their eyes, how they move their bodies, and whether they're uncomfortable, whether they're happy. You can tell immediately when you start to follow this. If you've never really focused on this, I highly recommend to learn nonverbal communication as well, because it's really, really important. It's part of the process of creating that effective communication with people, because people are expressive, and you're going to know right away whether they're happy or they're not happy.
The number 4 is you want to be relaxed, right? And trust me, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes, I'm anxious, you sometimes get into anxieties and trying to communicate a message that you feel is important, or people are not maybe open to listen. The things you want to remain calm, right? And that's the difference between an effective communicator and a less effective communicator. You want to be stress-free as you're sharing your conversation. So this is really, really, really important. Number 5 is inform. If you're building your network marketing company and you have absolutely no idea what the product does because you're just really interested in the opportunity and the money, that will also be an issue. So be informed. And I don't mean that you need to be a scientist, a doctor, or a specialist in whatever product you might be talking about, but you should understand the benefits, right? What are the benefits of what it is that you are talking about? So be informed on what you are talking about, but in the same time, summarize the information. Don't be too much overwhelming with too much data.
Yeah, even in the mentorship process, is to come into the conversation knowing exactly where you're going with all of that, and have the information in front of you, and where you need to guide people. Of course, the next one, again, I'm all about that visual stuff. I'm a visual learner, by the way, and you probably already picked that up if you're very good at connecting with people. So number 6 is to be visual. It's the storytelling that attracts people to want to even listen, whether it's, you're dealing with a challenge, or you're, sharing some information with people or guiding people. It's good to have those, to get them to see the bigger picture through storytelling. And what do they say? A picture is 1,000 words. So yeah, it's very important to have that visual.